Good morning, everybody. Today is going to be a long ramble, so buckle down. We're going to have a lot to talk about. We got some blog posts to cover. I've received some brand new items on my account in the past couple weeks. And also, cjayk finally decided to fix the inventory, which I'm fucking thrilled about. In fact, they just uploaded a blog 6 hours ago and then one 1 hour ago. And I'm pretty much going to be just covering the one from an hour ago. This is the one 6 hours ago. Tombs of a Mascot and Group Iron Man changes. Just a little bit of just random stuff I'm not really going to go over. Basically, if you were an Iron Man that was permanent, you can change yourself to an unofficial Group Iron Man, it looks like. But the big thing is this right here. Where is it now? Java and Steam. Holding the Shift key while on the inventory and then switching to a different tab, letting go of Shift and then switching back to the inventory will no longer keep the Shift button active. And it works. I tested it. So I'm holding Shift right now. Actually, wait. Let me see. I actually got to make sure this is on. How do I reset this? Huh? What the fuck is going on? Is this some new RuneLite stuff? Oh, I think this is some RuneLite stuff. For some reason, I'm so confused. Why is there even an arrow here? Is that just like make it more simple? This is the first time I'm ever seeing this on the Ramble, of course. Okay, so Shift click will be drop. So there we go. If I'm holding Shift, it goes to drop. If I hit F3 now to go to my prayer tab, release Shift, go back to F2, it's on use. It's no longer on Shift. It's fixed. And that is an amazing update. Like that alone, I'm fucking happy about. So before I start chopping some redwood tree, I need to show you guys. Did I just bank it? Fuck me. I need to show you guys what I've received as drops. So first things first. I have received 2 of 3 Masori. I think you guys already knew that. But I also received a Tumakin Shadow. And I posted that on Twitter. So if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, be sure to hit the link down in the description. Also, while we're at it, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, if you guys like the rambles. I also got a Ancient Hilt, which is nope, not there. Right here. So this was actually just yesterday on stream. I was doing some trio necks with Scott and with Edward, and I got an Ancient Hilt 3 kills in, which is fucking beautiful, because look at this. We are literally only missing a Torva plate body now. 2,300 Nile shards. That is extremely low, by the way, for like my log right now. We already got the pet. I'm literally missing a Torva plate body, and we're out forever, which is, it's just so beautiful. Raids, I'll just show you my Tombs of a Mascot log. It is looking very nice. Now, I have not done the 425 or the 500 raid yet for the like kits and everything. I'm not super worried about it, although I will just get it out of the way because on my stream, people are like, have you done the 500 yet? And I'm like, God damn it. So I'll just go do it. It's just like one of those things. I'm not terribly obsessed with getting aesthetic changes to my items, cosmetics, but like I guess for this one I'll just do it because it's just a one and done, pretty much. Just do it and it's over. So I'm gonna just skip the 425 completely. I'm just gonna do the 500 and then I'm going to go back to 300s and grind out the rest of the items, which I'm just literally missing Eladinus Ward and Masori body. And if I get the pet, then I'll go for like these crazy shits. But for right now, I will get I think it's the cursed phalanx. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but I think this is the thing I really want for the Fang. And yeah, so I'll probably do that within the week. And so yeah, I'm really, really happy with my Tombs of a Mascot log. It is it's pretty good. If you guys have seen Bodhi's log is an absolute atrocious. It's just so fucking pathetic. So I'm very blessed. I know people have gotten way luckier than I have, which is actually unbelievable because I feel like my luck's just insane. But anyway, I really want the Masori body. Still missing that. So I have gone to next without the Masori body, which my plan was to get the first 5 items I needed before going to next. But, you know, I'm missing a Torva plate as well. So, like, using a Bandos chest plate for all these kills has been kind of gross looking. Anyway, so that's pretty much all there is to that. Now, I do want to just say briefly before I go into this blog what I experienced about 2 weeks ago. So I may or may not have done mushrooms for the first time ever, and it was a life-changing experience. And I'm not trying to promote drugs here or anything, but I did have an opportunity to take it, and I took a pretty high amount. And it was like the craziest experience of my entire life. And I've heard things before like, oh, psilocybin can help with like depression and stuff. I wouldn't consider myself a depressed person. I've never been diagnosed with depression or anything, but I will say I was a little bit in a rut in life in general. Just I felt like I was losing passion for things just slowly over like the past few months. And it was kind of like a shitty feeling, even though a lot of, I don't know, like the outward appearance or I guess like on the outward, if people were looking at me, they probably saw my life as getting better in a way. Like I was getting more physically active. I was eating a little bit better. I was, doing some strength here and there 3 times a week and just really, I don't know. It felt as though, and even in my own mind, I felt like I was doing the right things in order to get to a better mental state, but it wasn't really working. In fact, it felt like I was just getting less passionate about things the more it went on. In fact, I barely even wanted to log into RuneScape for about a month and a half. It was kind of like when when Tombs was released, I was already in this kind of like, ugh, but I grinded it. It was still fun. And then I kind of started losing the passion. But this little trip I had, it's hard to explain. And anybody that's ever done mushrooms will tell you basically, it's impossible to explain what you experience in it. But it was like the most magical, most beautiful, euphoric event of my entire life, honestly. It was also, I gotta say this, it was also the most terrifying. It was probably the most fearful I have ever been in my entire life, but it's also like the serenity and pure nirvana that I experienced was so uplifting. I know I'm trying to get to this redwood tree, but I'm like focused on my thoughts right now. Let's just go to the redwood tree while I'm just sitting here. It was so amazing that when I woke up, or not really woke up, but when I came back, like when I was on the come down, basically, back to reality, I had this just very beautiful feeling of just total peace and just kind of this sense of relief and this sense of like everything's going to be okay. And anything that I was kind of struggling with or anything that, was affecting my mood or just causing, I don't know, a lack of passion in what used to be very passionate for me, which is like RuneScape content and stuff. It really just faded away in a way. And it's not like it's changed me as a person, but I will say that event has been pretty much scarred in my mind. And it's like a really nice reminder of like life is incredibly beautiful. And anyway, I know I'm just going on a weird tangent. I don't want to go on this too long. Also, I don't really want to share personal, like what actually happened, because I feel like it's kind of a personal thing for me, and it wouldn't really make sense by explaining it. But I just wanted to say I'm in a really, really good place right now, probably the best ever. And it's, yeah, I don't know. So I just wanted to kind of share that because I know people on my stream were asking about it. And so that's pretty much it. I'm really happy. I'm glad I didn't have a horrible trip. I will say part of my trip was just absolutely horrifying. But the come down and certain parts of it were just the most beautiful feeling I've ever felt. So anyway, that's enough with the whole weird hippie drug talk. But let's move on to the Wilderness Boss Rework blog. So let's make sure this is aligned nicely. Okay, so Wilderness Boss Rework blog. I'm just going to go through this entire thing. This is a long ramble. If you guys want to skip this section, feel free. But there is a lot of good stuff if you guys are like into the wilderness and stuff. Plus, and just to kind of preface this, I have completed the wilderness entirely. So this will bring in some new items and stuff. And also the D-pick is going to be moved to something else, which there is a question on that later in this blog. But I will be participating in these Wilderness Boss rework things because there's a lot of new things coming out, and I do want to have maintained the kind of like wilderness completion aspect. So let's get on with it. Back in August, we shared with you our design for the Wilderness Boss rework. In the design blog, we detailed our plans to bring Vedion, Callisto, and Venenatis more in line with the standards we now set for old school content. Almost a decade since the game's release. A brief reminder, in short, we plan to rehome these bosses in a proper multi-way combat environment and breathe some new life into the multi-PvP community. An area that's been lacking attention for some time. Yes, it definitely has. Back in 2014, the intention for these bosses were to be encounters you tackle with friends, but their punishing design meant players instead found ingenious ways to solo them in safe spots in order to obtain some of their juicy loot for themselves. As part of this rework, we'd like to move these bosses into their own respective layers connected to the escape caves. We're giving each boss a whole new set of attacks and a unique environment so that you and your thrill-seeking friends can take them on like never before. Boasting a fair-for-all MVP loot style similar to Nex, everyone engaging in combat with the various bosses will be eligible for loot. That does include Iron Man, so that's a really nice thing. The hardest hitting among you can expect to see GP per hour in line with iconic bosses like Vorkath or the Alchemical Hydra. The fights themselves are pretty simple, leaving you plenty of room to focus on the real threat at hand, other players. You'll have to decide whether to fight for your territory or chance a daring escape to keep your loot safe. While we know there are a whole host of players who have been craving more multi-combat activities in the wilderness, we're also aware that it's not for everyone. For that reason, we've also decided to include safer single-way combat alternatives to the reworked bosses as part of our design. These would be mid-level encounters set around or below level 30 wilderness and essentially function as toned-down versions of their multi-way counterpart. That's kind of interesting. I already kind of knew this, but it is, I don't know. I just feel like, whatever. We'll just continue with this. I'll share my thoughts later. Players might find themselves fighting Callisto's second cousin, Vedion's Thrall, or Venonata's Aunt Vera. Interesting. It's worth noting that these alternatives will be significantly easier to take down than the bosses that currently exist, and should be a good bit more accessible to players who haven't got a crossbow lying around. These single-way alternatives would retain a similar or shorter time to complete for pre-existing collection log slots, like their pet or respective wilderness ring, but offer less GP per hour and a reduced chance at some of the new uniques on offer when compared to the multi-way combat bosses. Similarly, these alternatives should count for any associated diary task or combat achievements. This is only a brief summary of the full design. Make sure you read the full blog if you haven't already. It's full of a bunch of detail, some awful jokes, and some fantastic art. Now, I never made a ramble on the entire blog, so I know there was a lot of other content creators that kind of covered it, so I'm not going to cover that today. This is kind of going to be the overview and just looking at the blog questions, or like the polling questions. So if you guys want to look at that, there's definitely a lot of PvP content creators that have covered it. Before talking next steps, we'd like to address the concerns raised around protection services. While a lot of players seem to enjoy parts of the proposal, some expressed worries about the return of groups selling protection, similar to the Revenant Caves during their initial multi-combat days. This consisted of players locking down a world and offering protection against player killers for in-game gold. This is a concern we'd anticipated, and we've tried to build our design around reducing the potential of these services thriving. These design choices include the area and spread of the caves, an MVP-style loot system where everybody, irons included, is able to take part and be rewarded, measures to prevent hopping around inside the escape caves, entry fees to discourage raggers, single-way combat alternatives offering the same uniques, albeit at lower rates. Okay, I think that's fucking awesome. I think that literally kind of solves it. Now, I've never really been a person that's opposed, really, to the whole protection services stuff. I actually think it's kind of a unique, I don't know, it's just a unique aspect of the game. Now, there are definitely pros and cons to it. I don't know all the pros and cons. Maybe the cons outweigh the pros, but it was definitely just a lot more engaging. I don't know, it just felt like a little sub community, or like almost like a mini game to the game. It's just like this, at least when I did multi-revs, it felt like a completely different game, totally different to the Iron Man mode. And it was weird. It was really addicting though. Surprisingly, I was very addicted to it. And I wasn't ever the one getting paid. I was just like the whole community driven thing of kicking out, an entire clan that's there trying to kill them, massing up and stuff. It was kind of fun, but I understand Jagex's position. But I would also love to hear your guys' thoughts on services, the whole like protection stuff. So let me know down in the comments. With all of the above in mind, we believe that the incentive to provide these services, as well as the ease of performing them, should be heavily reduced. Should issues arise, we won't hesitate to discuss further tweaks to the content while punishing any rule breakers. We want the content to be a healthy and much anticipated hotspot for teams, small groups of friends, or even brave solo adventurers looking to throw caution to the wind, and will make any changes necessary to ensure players are engaging with the rework in good faith. Polling. With all of that said, let's get on to the main topic of his blog, polling. It's no secret that PvP tends to be a more controversial topic than most in old school RuneScape these days. Updates to PvP or the wilderness are often deemed to favor one group or another. With this rework, we want to improve these bosses for all groups, not just one. We'd also like to address long-standing frustrations, such as the Dragon Pickaxe being a wilderness-exclusive item, which has over time escalated tensions between those who love PvP and those who don't. We feel the current iterations of Vedion, Venenatis, and Callisto fall pretty far south of the standards and balance that players and the team alike have come to expect from old-school exclusive content. For this reason, the rework itself will not be pulled. This extends to all parts of the rework, the multi-combat bosses, the single-way combat alternatives, the provision, alternative sources for the Dragon Pickaxe, all of it. We want players to feel like they're making a choice between high risk and high reward, or reduced risk and fewer rewards. We want groups, clans, small teams, or a handful of your pals loaded up on pizza to be able... What? Loaded up on pizza to be able to get stuck in without solo players and iron players feeling left in the dust. Huh? Am I just fucking, like, out of it? What's up with the pizza thing? Is that like a saying? I have no idea. While we believe this to be a necessary change and a much-needed modernization, we understand that some of you are likely not overjoyed with this decision. We want to reassure you that, reassure you all that following the content's release, we will do our utmost to work with you, the community, and make any tweaks necessary and to ensure this is a rework that you will be able to enjoy. As part of this rework, we'd like to offer a selection of new unique rewards. These rewards impact players all over the wilderness and beyond, with a host of upgraded Revenant weapons aimed to make anti-PKing a little more comfortable for wilderness PVMers and the Void Waker. A homage, or an homage, I don't know how they say it in... there, to Karasi's sword, aimed to bring some nostalgia and diversity to PvP spec weapons without being outright stronger than anything currently offered. We hope there's a little somebody for everybody. Little something for everybody. Huh? Are these like typos, or are these just like actually like they're trying to say these things? I mean, I'm fucking butchering this entire blog, but it's not helping when there's what? The poll questions for the rewards in this blog will not be restricted in any way. This doesn't mean we won't continue with restricted polling in the future, but we want this rework to offer something for everybody, and everybody deserves a say in shaping the new rewards offered. Okay. The rewards, as proposed, have been accessible in beta worlds for just over a week. By the way, I've not gone to the beta world, so I have not tested out these weapons. For just over a week, and will remain usable until this poll closes. So make sure to jump in and give us feedback. We're prepared to chop, change, tweak, and rework as required until you're happy with what's on offer. Okay. Rewards. Let's check it all out. Finally, the Thammer Scepter. And I know you guys have already seen all this stuff from like a month ago or a month and a half ago, whenever the original proposed blog came out. This one's not strictly a reward, but a rework we propose to give the least used Revenant weapons some love. Okay, so let's check this out. We'll review this once I read this. Looking at the above, you'll likely notice two things. First of all, the reworked Thammer Scepter will be able to auto-cast non-powered spells. In practice, this means players will be able to auto-cast standard spellbook offerings like Fire Surge, as well as ancient magics like Ice Barrage. When used against NPCs, the Revenant weapon bonus against Wilderness NPCs will still apply, meaning Wilderness Slayer enjoyers can expect to see some massive barrages if they're willing to take a little extra risk. We feel as though this is a neat way to give a little boost to Wilderness Slayer alongside the Wilderness Boss rework, since it could stand to be a little more rewarding for the risk associated. I think that's totally appropriate. It's worth noting that the non-powered spells cast while holding Thamaryn's Scepter will cost Ether on top of their associated rune cross. Wait, what? It's still doing that? Oh, wait. Let me get this right. So Thamaryn's Scepter does not have a special attack. Okay. Special effects. When used against NPCs, okay, it still has the 50% damage and 50% accuracy. Okay, that's amazing. Wait, is there a... Okay, you know what? Let's just cover this whole blog. I think there's some little thing that's attached to this Thamaryn Scepter that I'm just missing. So we'll just continue reading. And if that wasn't enough, the reworked Thamaryn Scepter can also function as a powered... Okay, yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, I literally just said it in the very next sentence. Excuse me, guys. This powered staff attack has an attack speed of 4 and a max hit equal to your magic level divided by 3 minus 8. This means that at 99 magic, your base max hit will be 25, increasing by 50% against wilderness NPCs and further benefiting from any gear that increases magic damage percent. If you're willing to risk some pricey gear, your ice cubes will be more potent than in 21 Jump Street. God. I kind of get that because isn't Ice Cube and 21 Jump? I don't fucking know. Unlike other powered staves, this new and improved offering would be able to hit players. Since Crossbow and Vigora's Chain Mace function pretty nicely for getting a little extra damage off while escaping, we didn't want to shortchange magic users. That's cool. You're not going to get the 50% accuracy and damage bonus, though. Should the Thamaryn Scepter be reworked as described in the blog? I think, yeah. A cursed scepter. We've been asking around and our sources tell us that Vedion has a pretty good head on his shoulders. Why not take it for yourself and pop it on your scepter instead? The Skull of Vedion will be a rare, tradable drop from Vedion. What a shocker. A player with 85 crafting can combine the skull with Thamaryn's Scepter to obtain the Accursed Scepter. If you don't have 85 crafting, Andros, Mai, and the Ferox Enclave will combine them for 500,000 GP. Okay, the Accursed Scepter is a tradable upgrade to the reworked Thamaryn Scepter, requiring 70 magic to wield and an attack speed of 4, and a max hit equal to your magic level divided by 3 minus 6. This means that at 99 magic, your base max hit will be 27, without accounting for the other bonuses outlined in the section about Thamaryn Scepter. Okay, so it's just like 2 extra max hits plus, every other piece of magic gear you have. This accursed upgrade will gain... This accursed upgrade also gains a special attack Condemn. Condemn costs 50% special attack energy and performs an attack with 50% increased max hit and 50% increased accuracy. On a successful hit, the target's defense and magic are reduced up to 15%. Ooh, that looks like a fucking torture amulet with... Dude, that actually looks kind of cool. I know it's a little bit cheesy, but that looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like it. Okay, let's continue. Defense and magic reduction from Condemn cannot be lowered beyond 85% of their initial value. For example, when used against a target with 80 defense and 80 magic, Condemn cannot reduce these stats any lower than 68. Okay, go bank these redwoods. A well-timed Condemn could be the difference between getting frozen or catching your opponent off guard and forcing them to drink a stat-restoring potion. It also looks pretty scary to boot. Huh? A player wielding the uncharged left chart. Okay, so this is just describing that. Let's see this. Yeah, it's still all the same stuff, just the special attack got upgraded. Let me see the magic attack and defense, though. So the attack rate's still 4, 15, 20... 22, 15. Interesting. So the defense gets lowered. Why? It's so strange. But the attack, I guess, increases. That's really strange. Okay. Ooh, we get to see the animation. What the fuck? He's like pulling a skull out of his fist. Okay. But yeah, I'm not even going to try to read this. I apologize if you guys are really obsessed with me trying to decipher all this, but the blog will be linked down in the description of this video, so be sure to check it out if you guys care. Okay, Webweaver Bow. Word on the street is that Venenatis has a pretty mean bite. Why not grab some of her fangs and make that bite work for you? The fangs of Venenatis will be a rare tradable drop from Venenatis. Again, huge surprise. A player with 85 fletching can combine them with the crossbow to make a Webweaver Bow. Alternatively, the Bell and the Ferox Enclave can combine them for 500,000 GP. The Webweaver Bow, ooh, okay, that's aggressive. That looks like a fucking T-bow. Huh? I was gonna say that looks like a twisted bow. You know, like the twisted kit, like the kind of like gray and gray. I mean, it's not green, but it kind of has that more. I guess a twisted bow already is a twisted bow. I'm fucking losing it. This looks very interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I also don't really understand. I mean, I understand not every ranged weapon needs to be green for like to kind of hit that green aesthetic of range gear, but this just looks insane. I mean, one thing I'm not a huge fan of, I know I'm just already critiquing this, but like this is way too big. These two things are massive. Like that would weigh your bow down so fucking hard. Like this thing looks like this thing looks so heavy. I really feel like they could just get rid of like this little section right here. Is this even like it's hard to tell really what I'm looking at, but like this looks heavy, like really fucking heavy. Who knows? You guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Okay. Swarm costs 50% special attack energy and unleashes 4 attacks in rapid succession with increased accuracy. Each of these attacks is capped at 40% damage, theoretically maxing out at 160% damage if every attack max hits. On top of this, successful attacks will inflict poison on hit. Great. Inflicts. Starting out at 4 poison damage. Okay, so let's see this. 85 range. I'm pretty sure. Is it going to show the original crossbow? No, it's not. Okay, so let me just like briefly pull up the original crossbow just so we can get a complete look at this. Okay, so here's the charged crossbow. It says 75 range and 60 range strength. So let's go back here. What was this? 85 range, 65 range. So it's still 65 range strength, but it did get an additional 10 range accuracy, which isn't that what the third age bow is? Now I really want to know. What's the third age bow? Wait, just making sure. This is 75. I'm pretty sure the third age bow is either 80 or 85. So third age bow. 8. Wow. Wow, look at that. So this is 9 squares for attack range. This is 9 as well. So literally, oh wait, let me go back as well. What was the range strength? Oh, no, there is no range strength because it shoots out arrows. Okay, so, wow. This is actually going to be better than a third age bow, like actually. And it doesn't cost any arrows, it just costs ether. Very interesting. And I also wonder if the special attack can be used outside the wilderness. I'm assuming it can, right? Like, it has to. So, that's a very interesting thing. And it looks kind of silly, but I don't know. It's pretty fucking powerful. Should the Webweaver Bow be added as described in the blog? I think it should. Ursine chain mace. Am I saying that right? Probably not. So we're removing heads, ripping out fangs. Why stop there? The Claws of Callisto will be a rare tradable drop from the Deranged Archaeologist. Just kidding, it's Callisto. A player with 85 smithing can combine them with Vigora's chain mace to make an Ursine chain mace. I'm probably butchering that. I'm sorry, guys. Alternatively, Durse Venator and the Ferox Enclave can combine them for 500,000 GP. The Ursine, I'm just like changing how I pronounce it now, god damn it. The Ursine Chain Mace is a tradable upgrade for Vigora's Chain Mace, requiring 70 attack to wield. It has higher crush and melee strength bonuses than Vigora's Chain Mace, and gains a special attack bear down. In the design blog, we noted that we wanted to make changes to bear down so it would function better in aiding players with a daring escape or two. The run energy drain has been removed in favor of an agility drain. The base bleed damage over time has also been increased. This is because the first proposal's bleed damage was doubled against targets with 0% run energy. But with run energy no longer factoring into the attack, we thought it'd be best to bump up the base damage just a little to compensate for this change. Okay, bear down costs 50% special attack energy and hits with 100% improved accuracy. If bear down hits, it deals 20 damage over 6 seconds. prevents running for 3.6 seconds, and reduces target's agility level by 20. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, damn, this thing looks scary. It looks scary. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get this version of Bear down in the beta worlds yet, but we're planning to get it added ahead of polling going live in-game so that you can experiment and drop us any feedback you might have. We hope that it might enable a well-timed escape over an agility obstacle or just buy you a little more time to put some distance between yourself and your opponent. He fucking spins it in the air. How pointless. Like, imagine doing that in real life, just flaunting. Like, oh my god, dude. It's kind of cool, though. I mean, I don't know why the hell he's wearing iron armor. Like, you could really pimp yourself out a little bit more to make this look more badass. Cool. Wait, how do you get... Oh, wait, is this like the... Is this the NPC or something that gives you the... Or, like, that'll do the upgrade for you for half a mil GP? Because I'm like, how the hell does he have a gray beard and black hair? That'd be kind of cool to get. You know what, guys? What do you guys think of that? I don't know if you guys are obsessed with, like, pimping out your characters as much as I am, but having a different shade color for your facial hair and your hair would be pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. This looks pretty sick. Okay, very random, I know. The Void Waker. Some kind of a PvP weapon with void associations. It rings a bell, but nothing familiar is staring back at us right now. Each of the 3 bosses will drop a piece of the separated Void Waker, the blade, hilt, and crystal. As components, these items are tradable. An NPC beneath the Old Knight will offer to reassemble the Void Waker for 500,000 coins. The completed Void Waker is also tradable and behaves like any other item on death. Okay, the Void Waker requires 75 attack, 75 strength, and 60 magic to equip. The Void Waker remains largely unchanged since the design blog, but its melee strength bonus has been increased from 75 to 80. Okay. I'm trying to, like, just see this thing. Is there a... There's... Oh, okay, let's see this. This change was to cement it as a best-in-slot, non-degradable strength training weapon for 75 attack builds with limited defense, which admittedly sounds pretty niche, but it's a nice little bonus on top of being a pretty consistent spec weapon. On top of the Void Waker's use as a training weapon, it also boasts a special attack Disrupt. The Void Wake, The Disrupt costs 60% special attack energy and deals guaranteed magic damage between 50 and 150% of your melee max hit. Holy shit, that is busted. The Void Waker is a love letter to the Karasi sword. Again, I never really played back then, so I don't even know or really care about, like, the nostalgia attached to it, unfortunately. A RuneScape item added alongside the quest, the Void Stares Back. Karasi's sword had a pretty infamous reputation, being easily reobtainable for a relatively low GP cost and hitting obscenely hard when paired with the Ring of Vigor, whose special attack reduced special attack cost in a time where players knew a lot less about techniques like combo eating. Owing to its solid DPS and easy to use special attack, we think the Void Waker has value for nostalgic PvPers and the wider player base alike. Very cool. Okay, we've seen some players ask for the special attack energy cost to be reduced from 60% to 50%. The reasoning being that the Void Waker has lower max hits than the other choices like the Volatile Nightmare Staff, Armadillo Godsword, Dragon Claws, or other Dragon Dagger, or even the Dragon Dagger in most setups, despite draining more special attack energy and being significantly harder to obtain than its inspiration. Okay. So yeah, I guess they're going to make it... Well, I guess they're going to pull it 50 or 60%. It'll probably be... I don't know. I always like... I mean, obviously, if it's 50%, if you're out in the wilderness, you're going to get fucked by it if you're, like, getting attacked. But at the same time, 60% weapons suck. I hate it. I hate when you can't spec twice with a weapon. The Dragon Pickaxe. The Dragon Pickaxe was added to the game alongside a host of other wilderness rejuvenation updates all the way back in 2014. Since then, the only means of obtaining this skilling upgrade has been securing one as a drop from various bosses spread throughout the wilderness. With ever-changing player attitudes, seeing a skilling upgrade like this locked behind dangerous content has proved to be a point of fierce debate in recent years. We want the wilderness to be a place all about high risk and high reward for players wanting to opt in to riskier scenarios and feeling properly compensated for their choice. For many, venturing out into risky territory to obtain this upgrade doesn't feel like a choice. As such, and as mentioned earlier in the blog, we'll be providing alternate means of obtaining Dragon Pickaxe unpolled. In this design blog, we identified these alternate sources as 1 in 400 from Calphite Queen and potentially a skilling focused source. Alongside this, we'd increase the drop rate from 1 in 1500 to 1 in 1000 from the King Black Dragon. In the survey attached to the previous design blog, players were overwhelmingly in favor of adding a means of obtaining this pickaxe by skilling, but opinion was divided as to exactly where. We initially provided the volcanic mine. Owing to its status as group content with a little bit of risk attached, it felt like a good fit. However, we'd like to put this decision in your hands. While we'd like to have the Wilderness Bosses and Calphite Queen prove to be faster options, we're open to a handful of skilling sources for you to choose from. Should the Dragon Pickaxe be obtainable via the mining skill to be offered from a source determined by question number 9? If poll question 8 passes and the Dragon Pickaxe is obtainable via the mining skill, where should it come from? Volcanic Mine, Zolcano, Blast Mine, Motherlode Mine. So here's one thing I'd like to just bring up real quick. What about unidentified minerals? Those little minerals you get from the mining guild, you know? What if you could get a certain amount and just buy one? Is that appropriate? Let me know down in the comments. And to be honest, if I was to choose one of these myself, I would choose Blast Mine. Also, I think Blast Mine should get a little buff, personally. I think Blast Mine's a really, it's not really, like, underwhelming. It's just, like, people don't really know about it and people don't really care. The XP rates aren't high enough, in my personal opinion. They basically cap out at about 80k if you're absolutely tick perfect and you get a pretty good hour. Some hours are even less if you just get unlucky. So, anyway, oh, this guy's been talking to me in the chat. He's asking me if I'm doing a ramble. I am rambling. Sorry. Okay, he'll see that in the ramble. So, Blast Mine, I think would be the best option, just simply to give it a little bit more use. Plus, I think if more people do Blast Mine for their Dragon Pickaxe, it would actually encourage this place to be buffed slightly, which, it's just selfish of me, but I would really like that. I think Blast Mine is just such a cool minigame. I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's enjoyable. It's very chill. If you guys haven't tried it, I actually have a blast mining guide, which is just really quick. It's like a 4-minute guide and it explains it perfectly, the tick perfect method of like getting 80k an hour. And you profit about $1 million an hour too. So anyway, you guys can go check that out. Maybe I'll have it linked in the description. That about covers all the proposed rewards at this time. Like we stated before, we're willing to make as many changes, tweaks, and adjustments as necessary, so make sure to leave plenty of feedback. While we feel an alternative source for the Dragon Pickaxe is long overdue, we want to make sure the other offerings from the Wilderness Boss rework maintain interest and profitability for players seeking a thrill, especially in line with a likely decrease in price for the Dragon Pickaxe. As a result, we'll be looking to keep the beta worlds active long enough to let us implement suggestions and feedback surrounding the rewards before the poll goes live in game. So there's no excuse for not getting stuck in. Okay. That was a nice little blog. I enjoyed that. And I'm really excited, honestly, for the new Wilderness Boss rework. I think it's going to be really fun, especially just because it's massable and you're not going to get fucked over. Like, everybody kind of has a chance of getting something, you know? I think that's a really fun way to do wilderness content. I can't say that's the most optimal way to do all pieces of content, but I really like that it's being implemented in the wilderness. So, let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions. I do read every single comment. No, I do not reply to every single one. I don't have time for that usually. But if it's something very important, I will reply. So let me know. I'm pretty sure that's all I really wanted to talk about. I feel like there's something in the back of my mind that I just haven't said yet on this ramble. But if I haven't, we'll just save it for another day. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate you guys just tuning in and leaving some comments. I love the feedback. I love just reading stuff on what you guys like. And yeah, if you guys already haven't liked the video, drop it now and be sure to subscribe if you haven't. And big shout out to the channel members. Thank you guys very much for your support as always. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.